meeting of the Cartersville City to order. If you'll stand with me, we'll have our invocation from Councilman Tonsmeyer, and then will be our Pledge of Allegiance from members of the Etowah Valley Young Marines, Corporal Hartley and Private First Class Massengill.
Let us pray. Loving God, we are blessed to live in a land of liberty, opportunity, and of efforts made to be just. Guide us as we gather as this council. Help us to deliberate with all openness and wisdom and to make the right decisions. In your holy name we praise. Amen.
Amen.
Ms. Keeling, the roll, please.
Carrie Hodge, Ward 1. Here. Jay Stepp, Ward 2. Louis Tonsmeyer, Ward 3.
Here.
Lindsey McDaniel, Ward 4.
Here.
Diane Tate, Ward 5. Here. Lori Pruitt, Ward 6. Here.
Thank you, Connie. The first order of business on our agenda tonight is the approval of our council meeting minutes from September 19th. Council, you've had these for a couple days now. I hopefully took an opportunity to look over those. And the Chair will entertain any motions or edits or corrections or otherwise.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve?
Second.
And a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved unanimously. We have a proclamation in celebration of Red Ribbon Week. I think we've already been introduced to Corporal Hartley and Private First Class Massengill. Y'all would like to share any words with us about Red Ribbon Week? And if you say no, that's fine, but if you say yes, that's even better. You'll step forward and speak into the microphone for us. You can adjust that as you wish.
All right. We are here today to talk to you all about Red Ribbon Week and Enrique Camarena and his efforts to get rid of drug use in America. And we are also here to promote Red Ribbon Week. And that's pretty much
Okay.
all.
Well, thank you. I've got a proclamation here that I will sign, and then I'll come down there and hand to you. It says, whereas communities across America have been plagued by numerous problems associated with illicit drug use and those that traffic in them, and whereas there is hope in winning the war on drugs and the hope that lies in education and drug demand reduction, coupled with the hard work and determination of organizations such as the Young Marines of the Marine Corps League to foster healthy, drug-free lifestyle, whereas governments and community leaders know that citizen support is one of the most effective tools in the effort to reduce the use of illicit drugs in our communities, and whereas the red ribbon has been chosen as a symbol commemorating the work of Enrique Quique Camarena, a drug enforcement administration agent who was murdered in the line of duty and represents the belief that one person can make a difference. And whereas the Red Ribbon Campaign was established by Congress in 1988 to encourage a drug-free lifestyle and involvement in drug prevention and reduction efforts, and whereas October 23rd through October 31st has been designated National Red Ribbon Week, which encourages Americans to wear a red ribbon to show their support for a drug-free environment. Now, therefore, I, Matthew J. Santini, as mayor of the city of Cartersville, do hereby proclaim October 23rd through 31st of 2013 as Red Ribbon Week in the city of Cartersville, and urge all citizens to join me in this special observance. I have signed it, as has our clerk, and I will bring it down to you, ladies. Here you go. Thank you for your efforts. You're welcome. We're
I have a
good.
Question.
Oh, Lindsay's got a question. Go ahead.
I have a question for Shane. I got something in my mail about this situation about drugs tomorrow on Joe Frank Harris Parkway. It's a meeting from 8 tomorrow morning to 4 in the afternoon. And it's inviting all the council.
That doesn't sound
I
like.
can't remember what the organization was, but it's not affiliated with this, but
That's what
no.
I didn't read it in its entirety, but that's the word, you know, the drugs and problems of church that stuck out like so, you know.
Well, I do appreciate your efforts, and I agree with what's in that proclamation, that part of tackling the drug issue starts with at the grassroots, and that's where you guys are working, and so we appreciate your efforts. And I know it's a school night, and I know y'all probably want to sit here and watch the whole thing, and you're welcome to. But if you happen to not want to, you're not going to hurt our feelings. All right? Thank you both. All right, we have got second reading of zoning case Z13-04. And Mr. Menino, if you'll get us started on that, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you had noted, this is a second reading. This is a rezoning for 33 acres located across I-75 on Main Street. The property is currently zoned OC in the overlay district, Main Street overlay district, and the request is to GC in the Main Street overlay district. Again, it is a second reading. There have been no additions or changes since the first reading, and the Planning Commission does recommend approval of this application.
Any questions for Randy on this item? Splendid. I will open up the public hearing portion of zoning request Z13-04. Anybody wishing to step forward and speak for or against may do so at this time. And seeing none, I will close the public hearing relative to 13-04. And the council, if there are any other further discussion or questions, if not, a motion would be in order.
Question, if I may.
You want to ask me, or who you want to ask it to?
I'll ask you.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll see what I can do.
All right. The proposed use is to rezone the use of a horse farm.
It's got to be a typo.
That is,
We mentioned that at the last meeting.
Okay.
The package was used as a template from the previous zoning, and that got left in there. We apologize for
I
that.
know we talked about a fire truck large enough to go to the fourth floor, and I wondered how that would horse farm.
Four-story horse farm. That's a fancy barn.
getting the horse up the stairs to that fourth floor, it's going to be a problem.
And again, we apologize. The version that got sent out, that has been corrected on the other
Go
documents.
upstairs.
I just couldn't figure out why they're gonna need a 60-foot building to keep horses.
All right,
Flying
any,
unicorns.
go right ahead.
Randy, do we have they talked about, Mr. Earl talked about a roundabout at the end of Main Street. Do we have guidelines? How is that done in the development process?
I heard most of the question, but that's part of the construction plans for the infrastructure. They are in the preliminary plat stages of the infrastructure development. They've been through the plan review meetings, and the preliminary plat does show a roundabout there. However, it's within the Georgia DOT's right-of-way, so the final design will be through the Georgia DOT, but the city Public Works Department has also worked with them. But again, it is in the Georgia DOT right-of-way where the roundabout will be located.
So we, the city of Cartersville, would work with them with the final.
Yes, and we have looked at it. I believe Wade and Tommy have both seen the preliminary plat, and we have met with the applicant and their designer.
All right, any other questions? And is there any further discussion? If not, a motion would be in order.
Motion to approve.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Randy. Chief Carter, you have the first reading of an ordinance tonight, please.
Mayor and Council, of course, in our occupation, we always pray for the best, but we have to plan for the worst, and that's what this document before you tonight is. It is an ordinance requesting the establishment of a chapter within our codes for emergency management. This ordinance actually began as a recommendation through GMA, Georgia Municipal Association, back last year. and has worked through our legal staff and through the fire department and the emergency department to craft this document. This has established a process for the city to work in conjunction with the county and Bartow County EMA and also the state of Georgia and GEMA and even FEMA if the disaster was that far. It gives a platform to the city on disaster declaration, and more importantly, it gives us some guidelines to use during a recovery process of any natural disaster we may have. It's a planning document, it's a baseline tool that we'll build off of, and we respectfully bring it before you.
Okay. Any questions or discussion on this item at this time?
Mayor, question. It may be in here, Chief, and maybe I missed it. Who keeps up with the cost incurred during an emergency in case there is reimbursement from the federal government? Who keeps up with that?
In this type of situation, if we got into an actual disaster declaration, we would be working under the NIMS process, of the National Incident Management System process. Actually, may not be aware of it, but Tom Reinhardt, as we assemble our incident management team, our disaster team of the city department heads and et cetera, their specific functions, one of which would be finance, and we would be responsible for tracking those type of things.
The fast answer is everybody does. I've been through one of these before, and everybody has to document what you do to repair the damage, what you do to recover, and you keep track of all of it, and then you submit it.
This is the baseline to get that process rolling.
Good. All right, any other questions for the chief on this item?
Just a quick one. The ordinance, is this a standard form that is used in other jurisdictions?
It is. This is almost mirrors, for example, the document that Bartow County enacted in July of 2012 and works in conjunction with them and has been signed off and approved by GEMA.
Chief, what is our communication level now with the Sheriff's Department and Bartow County Fire Department? I mean, in a true emergency, how good is our communication?
Well,
We're working on that.
yeah, quite honestly, I mean, as far as the actual interoperability of the radio communications equipment, we're working on that right now through a particular process of a SPLOSH-funded project that's on this current SPLOSH. Day in, day out, working relationships, and that may be more what you're more specific about. I would say they're better right now than they ever have been.
No, actually, I was talking about
The radio
when
system?
communication goes down, and
Well,
I know we really.
we
work
are
hard.
currently working on that right now through a current SPLOSH project and working with the county and multiple agencies on an interoperability project that was passed with the last SPLOSH.
Yep. Any other questions at this point or discussion? This is the first reading of an ordinance. We'll take it up for final consideration at our meeting on October the 17th. Thank you, Chief. We have a appeal of a denial by the Historic Preservation Commission for property located at 19 South Public Square. And Mr. Menino, if you'll start this, start us off.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. As you had noted, this is an appeal to a HPC case. The applicant, Ms. Chung, is the property owner and operator of Lock Salon located in the downtown business district. She has some windows that were leaking and the wood was rotting out. And with that, she was looking to replace the windows, went before the Historic Preservation Commission. And the application was denied, and with that, she's looking to appeal to you to allow her to move forward with the project.
Okay. Thank you. Is the complainant here?
I believe, Ms. Chung, the applicant is present.
If you would, please. That's okay. If you would, Ms. Chung, just for our clerk, if you'll state your name and your address for our clerk, please.
Okay, my name is Tina Chung. My address is 19 South Public Square. And the last time I didn't have pictures, and this time I do. We can't really just replace bits and parts of it. When it's being replaced, we need to replace the whole thing. And the pictures that you guys had, it wasn't clear. It looked really good. You know, it didn't look messed up at all. But here are pictures that I've taken today, just to
If you'll hand them to our clerk, and then she can pass them down for everybody, and then she'll.
see how bad it is. It's pretty bad. You can't just take one part and then fix one part. Everything has to come down. So it's pretty expensive, more than I have.
Okay.
So, basically, we hadn't started on it or anything because it's just too much to replace all the wood frame and to get the windows and all that. But, we've noticed that the other stores have, moved on to just the metal pieces because it is cheaper. So basically, there's only 2 or 3 places in downtown that has the wood pieces. Almost every one of them has the metal. I guess because it's just, it lasts longer and it's more reasonable. So wood is just way too expensive right now, and it's not lasting as long as the metal.
Okay. Anything else to add?
No, that's it.
Okay. Are there
Is she
any,
getting any water damage?
I was gonna ask that. Are you getting water damage inside your building as a result of
Yes.
this?
Mhm. It's moisture. I guess the rain is getting into the wood, and then the wood and the window is separating. We have like maybe an inch where the window is sliding down from the wood, where it's not holding on anymore. So I guess it's just moisture.
Okay.
And they're basically having to take all that down and redo it. You can't just go in and patch a piece of wood and, it's gonna stay. I'm just afraid that after a long time, it's gonna just clash, and I won't have a storefront, and it's gonna be a little insane. So I wanna go ahead and, get the problem, done before things get worse.
Certainly. Are there any questions for Ms. Chung?
Mr. Chung, when you look at this picture that we have at the front of the store, and then we have this picture, will this remain? In other words, are you changing this? This will still be there, is that right?
We're gonna try to get a metal piece to look like the way it's sectioned. We're gonna try to keep it as close to that. We're not trying to change the layout of it, but wherever there's wood, it's just gonna be metal. Almost every one of the stores in downtown, if you wanna take a walk downtown, there's really none of them. I mean, Parada and Con is a beautiful building, but honestly, they've even put, I don't know, tile on it, that's kind of extreme. What we're doing is not that extreme. I mean, when you go see when you drive by, it's like, whoa, I mean, they're not preserving anything, and we're preserving just almost. The only thing that's different is the material. We're gonna keep the same layout. It's not gonna stand out like Parada and Con.
Okay.
But can I ask you again, is this wood or is this?
That's wood, every bit of that's wood. If you look in the pictures that I've printed out, you can see where the wood is pulling apart, and it's damaged. I mean, all those little pictures that I've printed out, if you look at those, it'll show you where everything is rotted.
But now I understood, I won't say we, I understood you were replacing this with metal, that this would remain, is that
No,
right?
you can't leave that. Everything has to come down.
It's all one piece. Or you
It
can't,
is all
you can't,
one
well,
piece.
I mean, I'm saying you can't have the wood surrounded by the aluminum. You're not gonna be able to fix it that way.
You have to do one or the other.
So what will this look like?
Do what?
What will this look like? Just
It's gonna be metal. It's basically gonna be like 2 or 3 stores, all around us. We're gonna match all the stores around us, basically.
Randy, if you've got a,
I'm sure that's a blow up of, I guess, the brand.
The building inspector is with the line today, I would think.
yeah, it has one. Yeah, it has one.
Especially when some of the right there with the line in it.
any other questions for Ms. Chung?
When was this redone? Do you know, when you moved in there, was this redone?
No, we haven't touched it. We've been in there for 3 years. Every year I've gotten to a point that something needs to be done. So when we first moved in, we had to change out the roof. The roof was leaking, all that. Every time I get to something, I'll start on it. I just, can't do everything all at once. So this is this year. Last year, our AC broke down, so I had to get a small loan to get that replaced. And this year is the storefront. I don't know what's next year's gonna be, but I basically try to do one big project maintenance-wise, So I'm hoping next year will be smaller.
Okay.
Do you own this building?
Yes, I do. We got a pretty good deal on it, and I used to do hair in Atlanta, and so having kids, I couldn't live the Atlanta lifestyle and have kids, so we decided to move closer north. So we opened a salon, and it really helped that I had more experience in Atlanta and then bring it here.
Right.
So my mom has the building in Calhoun, so we put that building up and got this one. But I mean, it's a great location. It just needs, you know, lots of maintenance stuff, like little things that pops up. So, you know.
Who prepared the COP application staff report? Was that you,
Randy?
Randy?
Richard Capel.
What is the sentence where it says, "The guidelines recommend using like materials, but also anodized aluminum is an appropriate material"?
I believe that was, I can't speak for them, but based on their analysis, based on the other buildings that were out there, they didn't feel that it would be inappropriate to utilize what she was proposing.
And that's anodized aluminum is what we're proposing
That's what the
here?
report says, yes.
Metal, yeah.
Almost every, if you guys want to just take a walk in downtown, I know I said it before, but I mean, almost every store has changed into what I'm wanting to change. I mean, anything that I'm doing is not going to be like, whoa, you know, it's basically going to match everyone else. So, and I do want to preserve the look of it. I do like the feel of downtown, and, you know, I just want to do what I can for the business, and just replacing all that wood is just, I won't be able to do it, you know, as of right now. So, but I'm also afraid that it's gonna, I don't know how long it's gonna hold up,
Sure.
because I've never been in this situation before,
Okay.
where I haven't really talked to anyone who has the same issue.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Well, that metal centerpiece, what color will that be? Will it look like wood or?
Yes, well, everything is painted black right now, so the metal is gonna be like a dark black bronzy color. Basically, when I walked around downtown, almost all of the storefront has the same look, so we're gonna do the same thing that they're doing. So it'll look very similar and it'll match, and I think it'll look nice.
Just out of curiosity, have you priced out your construction costs for wood
Yes,
replacement? And
I have,
what's the-
twice as much. The many people that I spoke to, they didn't write it on paper, but they're like, well, it's gonna be at least 80-something hundred. I'm like, okay. So I didn't even tell them, you know, to come back and bring me. I was like, you know, I'm just gonna wait. There's no point in wasting their time on doing all that, and I can't afford it. So I didn't want to waste their time until, you know, I know that I have to make up, you know, really do something about it.
I'm sorry, what is 80-something hundred? Are you saying $8,000?
Yes.
Okay, and you got
At
a quote
least.
on the aluminum, and it's 4,000?
Yes, and it's 4,100. I don't have that paper with me, but they have it on the second floor.
Okay. Any other questions?
Can somebody give me an idea if we really do have a lot of aluminum downtown? I don't know.
I walked,
I've
I mean,
not walked.
quite honestly, I walked, I took a look at the property this, I think it was earlier today, as a matter of fact. And it is specifically to Public Square. When you take a look at that block, I don't know that might be the last remaining wood front that there is. Mr. Archer, I don't know if you've got any.
There's one more that's wooden.
Okay.
front. It's on
But-
Main Street, but it hadn't been occupied in a long time.
But it is not, I would say this, in looking at that, it is not uncommon for there to be an aluminum frame. I would say on the on the side of the street on Main Street where Egan's is, where Ron Goss just finished renovating that building, and, I mean, many of those businesses, I saw more wood windows on that side of the street, or that part of downtown, than I did any of the others. You asked the question if
You got
the front of the Grand Theater has aluminum windows, the front of the radio station has aluminum windows.
Have aluminum windows?
With the dark paint.
Or anodized metal.
detail, the attempt is to keep the look the same, but with the dark paint, it's hard to tell the difference unless you physically go up and touch some of these.
Correct.
I actually think it's gonna look better.
I didn't hear that.
I actually think it's gonna look better because then you don't see like all the wood, like, you know, if you look at the pictures right now, you know, it looks bad, so once we get all that done, it's gonna look better.
Okay. Anything else to add? Any other questions for Ms. Chung? You're free to sit. We've put you on the spotlight long enough, I think. We might call you back up, but we'll see. Any further discussion from council on this?
I have a question for Randy. Randy, did you tell me that, I think Ms. Chung went before the HPC in August?
That is
right?
correct.
In September, did you have a workshop on windows?
Yes, the very following month, it was already scheduled. The Pella Window Company came in and did a presentation to HPC to show some of their aluminum and fiberglass products that they use in historic districts, to show that, you know, with the painted frames, that it's very similar. Now, again, they hadn't had that particular presentation before this applicant, but they have had other training in the past. But this was a real life, the windows were brought into this room. They were able to touch and see them and take a look. But again, that was just a training session, and it did occur, as you had mentioned, after the applicant came before them.
So it's something the HPC is looking at and maybe to incorporate?
Possibly. The guidelines are just that. They're guidelines to give them suggestions. They are not actual document. It's to help them make decisions. So the more information they have, the better decisions they can make. So again, that was part of the reason the window company came in here and gave a presentation.
All right, council, you have the issue before you. I don't know if there's any discussion, further discussion needs to be had, or if there's any other questions, but if not, any motions would be welcomed at this point.
Mayor, I have conflicted thoughts on this, but on the other hand, Ms. Chung, I certainly appreciate your contribution to downtown, and I met you when you first came to town. I don't know if you remember or not, but it seems like your business has been successful. And I am concerned about the difference in the money. Anyway, just a comment.
Is that an motion?
It was a comment.
Oh,
No, I would like to make a motion, please, to allow her to replace the windows with metal, as she's requested.
okay, is that in proper, does it have to be in a certain vernacular, would be overturning the, how should that say, or did she say, is that fine? I just want to make sure we're.
Yeah, it says you can, wait a minute, I got it right here. The city council may approve, modify, or reject the determination by the commission. So you could reject the determination and, then add to the motion, well, just add to the motion to reject the determination of the Historic Preservation Commission in addition to what you said.
Okay, I'd also like to reject the HBC's current ruling or standard and
Okay.
allow Mrs. Chung to replace her windows with the metal.
Can I second that with a modification?
Please.
I mean, I would like it to retain the look that it has now, not just replace it with any metal wear. I mean, I think that may be implicit, if you're gonna use metal, but it still needs to look
You're saying like
consistent.
use the black anodized aluminum?
See, I don't know the technical terms, but I think that is,
No, you can't do
that's why I
color.
was
Oh,
asking what we were using, and so that it looks, the final appearance is consistent with its current appearance.
Staff on behalf of HBC can do that. We can do it administratively, look at the product that they bring in there to make sure it's retaining the same similar characteristics.
All right, so if we were creating the motion, again, we're building on it and trying to modify it, it would be to reject the ruling of the HPC and to allow for the use of metal framed window pending the approval of planning and development, that it meets the guidelines. Is that,
That was the modification I wanted.
is that,
Sure.
can I, that's what Carrie said, and that's what, so we've got.
You okay with that? You okay with
So we technically have a motion, and you want to amend the motion, or did you second it?
I tried to second it with an amendment, but if I have to amend,
Well, she's accepted the amendment to the motion, if I
Well,
can
then
speak for Carrie.
Then I'll second that
All right,
amended
so we have a
motion.
motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is Chief Culpepper.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is it's time for the annual equitable sharing asset forfeiture report under the rules governing equitable sharing of federally seized assets. We're required to file an annual report with the Department of Justice. In order to do that, which puts us in compliance with the Department of Justice rules regarding asset forfeiture, we have to have that submitted by September. Took us some time to get the accounting done. That report is ready, and I'm asking for the council's approval for the mayor to sign and for me to forward that to the Department of Justice.
Okay. Questions, comments, or motions?
Question. So if, as this says, we've got $150,000, the feds can't come and get that, can they?
Well, they can come get it anytime they want, but they're not going to because it's seized and turned over to us once it's ours.
Okay, well, I was kind of wondering if everybody looking for money and crazy things going on in DC.
Yeah, until we get this report, no more money flows to us
Okay.
that would be seized. So once we get that, any money that's in the pipeline can be released back to us
Okay,
when they come back to work.
but they can't take what we've got already? They can't take what we have
No.
already? Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? And if not, a motion's in order.
So moved.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Continue on, Chief.
The, before you is a crime mapping support agreement. This is an annual agreement with USA Software, our proprietary RMS vendor, record management system vendor. It's a $7,200 annual fee that supports a crime mapping. This is the crime mapping that we use, and it's also the one that's out on the website that the public can access to determine where crimes are happening in their area. This is a budget item. We do have E-Verify and Safe documents on file. I ask for your approval to make the payment to USA Software in the amount of $7,200 for this support agreement.
Okay. Any comments or questions on this item?
Make a motion to.
Chief, I've seen the mapping system in your office. Is that the same one you see on the website?
It's very similar. What we use allows us to go deeper into the crime mapping and to draft some reports that we can use internally, but it's generally the same thing.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Sanders.
Thank you, Mayor. Bartow County wants the southernmost 150 feet of Ford Street, and we don't need it. So this is we're seeking approval for the mayor to sign a quit claim deed, which will give that property to Bartow County.
How much do they want to pay for
All right. I can't imagine any discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a second. I got to ask for a motion. Who wants to give a motion on that? I can't do that. Thank you, Lewis.
And I'll second.
And thank you to you too. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries
Thank you.
unanimously. Thank you. I meant to say Councilman Consmeyer and Councilwoman Tate. Sorry for my lack of formality. Mr. Anderson.
The name is Gio.
Yes, sir, Mayor and Council. This is an amendment to an agreement that Council approved in 2011 with DNR. This was for a grant canoe for the Blue Trail. It was a canoe kayak launch at the Leak Mound site. We had originally received an amount, and after the project was bid out, it was about $34,000 over. Because we had money tied up into it, I contacted DNR and asked for additional money. Additional money was given. That increases our match to $20,000, which we have, again, $9,400 already in it, so that would make just coming up with $10,600 additional match, and I have that money within my budget to transfer, and I'm asking to approve this amendment.
Okay. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, thank you.
Time for the Ed Molinak Show. You got the next 6, I believe.
Mayor, council, the first item is related to the Tennessee Street Water Main Replacement Project. We have easements to acquire for that project. We used Satterfield and Associates to acquire these easements at a rate of $750 per easement. There's approximately 27 easements associated with this project. We're requesting approval for the use of Satterfield and Associates for acquisition of up to 50 easements so that we can be covered for additional projects that we're planning on constructing this year.
Okay. Any discussion on this item? Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Continue on.
Associated with this easement acquisition, we used AGW Enterprises to do the property appraisals. There were approximately 27 easement properties involved with the Tennessee Street project. We're asking for approval for use of AGW Enterprises for performing up to 50 appraisals at the price of $800 per property to cover additional projects that we'll be constructing this year.
Okay. Questions, comments, or motions?
Is it possible to know what other cities and so forth who use these same firms have been charged for this? Or are we paying the going rate?
This is a fairly going rate. I think there's two parties that we've used in this town to do easement or to do appraisals, and that's AGW and Lamar Penson, and they're very similar prices. And we may come back for approval of using Lamar Penson on other properties.
Use Mr. Benson on other properties, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Did we get a bid from him for this?
We had a very tight timeline for this Tennessee Street project, and in order to get this thing going, by the time we got the title searches back, we were under the deadline, so that's why we chose to go with him.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Continue on, please.
The next item is a proposal for use of Schweitzer Engineering for construction services on the water main relocation project that's required for the DOT Route 20 widening and relocation. We used Schweitzer Engineering for the design of this project. We'd like to amend their contract to include contract administration and inspection. They have given us a proposal in the amount of $31,100. We believe this is a fair price given the scope of the work. And this project is a budget item.
Okay. Any discussion, and if not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
The next item is Browns Farm Road Pump Station Rehabilitation. At the last meeting, Lanier Contracting Company was approved for doing the pump replacement. We realized that we needed a control panel to go along with the pump replacements. We'd like approval to increase their contract to $72,395 to include replacement of the pumps and control panels. This is a budget item to be paid for from the Water Pollution Control Plant Maintenance and Repairs budget item.
And the pump price stays the same.
The pump price stays the same. Total contract is $72,395.
Okay. Any discussion here? Any motions?
Make a motion to approve the bid from Lanier Contracting.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, Ed.
Next item is inventory restock for our distribution collection. We received bids from 4 different suppliers. Kendall Municipal submitted the low bid in the amount of $17,816.06. We recommend approval for purchase of these materials from Kendall Municipal at a cost of $17,816.06. This is a budget item.
Mayor, question. About how long will this last, this inventory last? I mean, I know we
It's a mix of items, brass fittings, so forth, so I really, that's kind of a variable thing.
depends on construction and replacement. Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, Ed.
The next item is emergency electrical repairs at the water treatment plant. We have an ongoing project there where we're installing some vaults over valves that are approximately 30 feet deep. During the course of excavation, we found electrical conduits that were in conflict with this, so we got East Electrical Contractors to give us a quote for the removal and replacement of these conduits. And as a matter of fact, they are the original contractors who installed these conduits back in 2000. They gave us a price of $11,130 to replace the electrical system. We believe this is a fair price. Will be paid for as a budget item for the water treatment plant maintenance and repairs. We request approval of East Electrical Contractors for this work.
Okay. There's no discussion. The Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you, Ed. Don, you got the next one, I believe.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The electric department currently uses a Itron system to remotely collect, tabulate, process, and provide billing data from our commercial and industrial customers. And we're currently using this software that helps us tabulate billing to send it to Cogsdale for billing. So this is an annual maintenance contract that we have, and it's for $6,969.27. And this is a budgeted amount. And the software package that we've been using is from the manufacturer Itron, which is a sole source supplier. And Keith Lovell has reviewed the invoice and verified that E-Verify and save documents are not required because the work will be done remotely. And we are asking council for approval to purchase this annual software maintenance and support package from Itron.
Okay. Any discussion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Don. Sam?
Yeah, Mayor, this resolution will change the time of the first meeting in December from PM to AM, 9 AM, so it doesn't conflict with the Christmas parade, and it's recommended for your approval.
There's no discussion. Chair will entertain a motion.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, and of course, as we typically do those morning meetings, I don't know what potential planning development or
Yep. No reason.
no heavy lifting that day. How about
Yep,
that?
yep, good job.
All right, and then you've got the next piece of our citizen survey.
Yep, the latest installment, this one's public safety. I'll try to be brief in my comments. This first slide is a comparison of a number of safety ratings. You've got the years across the bottom and the multicolored bars. I guess the takeaway from this is people over the years have felt safer in the downtown during the day and in their neighborhood during the day than they are at other locations within the city. The benchmarking is on the next slide. The significant ones here, safety from environmental hazards and toxic waste are much below for both the region and the nation. Safety from violent crime below for the national comparison. downtown area ranks above, as well as neighborhood after dark on a regional comparison. These are the questions that we standardly ask about any of your member of your household being involved in crime in the last 12 months, and if it was reported. You can see roughly, the figure shows roughly 20% on the involvement, and of those that were involved, right at about 80%. These for both are more than the national and the southern region by comparison. In fact, the reported crime is much more. This is a plethora of different items that are rated with the public safety rating on a 100-point scale. Looks like Chief, you win the booby prize. The fire services are folks feel real safe, but you can see on the next slide that they apparently feel safe in a lot of places because your ratings are similar to national and regional comparisons. Traffic enforcement is above for both. Emergency preparedness is much above for the national comparison and above for the southern region. Okay, this is about contact with police and fire department. You can see the respective percentages there. These have only been done for 2 surveys. We didn't do those before. And we're similar to the national and regional comparisons for fire, and more on the national and regional, or national, regional, and police. Okay, these are ratings of contact with both. Again, it's above the national and regional norms, and similar above on fire, and similar to national and regional norms with police. That's it.
Very good. And again, all this is on the front page of the City of Cartersville website. On the right side, there's a tab that says, it's on the right, say that again?
There's a link to it on the right side and the left side.
Wow.
So Rebecca's got us covered right or left, whichever side you want to click. It'll take you to those results, and you
Down in the middle, huh?
you can delve into those. Any other business that needs to come before council this evening? Come on, Gregory.
There we go.
Watch the Braves play. But I do have a couple of events going on. We've got this Saturday. We've got the annual Atlanta Track Club 10K road race, and the following weekend is one of our most popular special events. We've got the Georgia Dog Disc Championship at Dillinger Park Saturday and Sunday. And then also Saturday, October the 12th, we've got our final fishing event of the year at Dillinger Park for grandparents and grandkids.
Come on, Greg.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Greg.
Good job.
Come on, Chief.
Real quickly, I would be remiss if not bringing up to the council and to the public's attention. We had a captain retire today. Michael Stewart retired after 30 years of service to the Cartersville Police Department and this community, and it's worthwhile noting that that he had given us 30 years of his life committed to this community that he's lived in and grown up in, and I appreciate his service, and he will be missed, and I think you need to know that.
Thank you for sharing that. I saw him actually yesterday. I was at City Hall. I had no idea.
He's too young to retire.
Too young to retire.
30 years is nothing.
Get the mayor out.
Anything else needs to come before council? Go Braves, is that what it is?
Yep.
All right, motion to adjourn? Or adjourn.
All right.
Go Braves.
Go Braves.